Hi everyone, welcome to the latest episode of Liquidware Chats. In this episode, I talked to Ruben Spruijt, freelance CTO at Dizzion Frame. So, Ruben, like myself, has been in EUC for a long time and, everyone knows Ruben. So we start with a look at his career in EUC and then we delve into the Frame acquisition by Dizzion. And Ruben goes through what has happened since the acquisition, and then he does a detailed explanation of the Frame protocol. Then we look at, obviously, as you may be aware, we launched CommandCTRL 2 weeks ago. So one of the things with CommandCTRL is that we have integration with Frame. So myself and Ruben have a discussion about that integration and the benefits, and we talk about how it kind of enhances that monitoring of your Frame platform. And then we finish with our usual question. We talk about the impact of AI on EUC. Hope you enjoy the episode. Thanks very much.
Hey, James. How's it going?
Good. And yourself?
Awesome. Beautiful weather here in Netherlands.
It's actually the same
30 degrees
here in
Celsius is the outcome today, so we'll see.
Yeah, it's supposed to be 21, 22 here in Dublin, but for recording purposes, obviously I've got my blind down because it's sunny outside. So it is actually sunny, despite what people might think. It is actually sunny here in Dublin at the moment.
Beautiful.
So Ruben, thanks very much for doing this. So just to get started, just in case there's anyone left in EUC who doesn't know who you are and your background, can you give me a brief overview of your background in EUC?
Sure. Like I'm a Dutch guy, a Stroopwafel Guy, an end user computing geek, active in this field for probably, I would say, 20 years or so. I love end user computing, passionate about end user computing. Work and life are sort of intertwined, are connected, and it's a work-life balance on that side. Active in different communities as well, besides sort of the business aspect of end user computing. Started as consultant, I would say longer time ago, for a large system integrator. Then joined a storage startup. Startup got acquired, joined Frame. Frame got acquired by Nutanix. Frame got spin off at Nutanix, acquired by private equity. Part of the private equity is also Dizzion. So Frame and Dizzion are merged, and that's where I am right now. But still very passionate about end user computing. Try to know how things work, but also on the strategy side, on the alliances side, on the sort of outgoing evangelism side, and bring back feedback to the product team. Wearing different hats, I would say, which is what I really enjoy. But always feet on the ground, technology, end user computing, GPUs, remote protocols, platforms, public cloud, on-prem, Microsoft Azure, Google, AWS, Citrix and VMware in the past, a little bit more than these days. So many different things on my plate, including like tools you represent as well. So different. We talk about that a little bit later as well. But
absolutely,
really exciting time to be in EUC for sure.
I agree 100%, and I agree also about the whole many different hats, because obviously my title is product marketing manager, but I'm doing evangelism and events and getting our message out there. So I think it's really great to have kind of a diverse range of things that you're not kind of pigeonholed into one role when you're working. And given that the majority of people, me and you both know, they're really passionate about EUC, so it's great that you have this opportunity to be able to look at all the different facets of it and the different roles within that. So you mentioned there that you've joined Frame. There's been a few changes. Dizzion have, as you said, as part of the private equity, have acquired Frame. So how has things changed, if at all, or what does the future hold for Frame? And maybe give us a bit of, just in case people are not aware of what Frame is, brief overview of Frame as well.
Sure. So LRR, that's the private equity, they sort of acquired Frame, and part of their portfolio is Dizzion. So Dizzion and Frame merged together in sort of a new company. I would say similar size, but different, I would say, focus. While Dizzion is much more like like managed services on top of like VDI DaaS platform, while Frame is more like a DaaS platform itself, like an engine. And the combined solution is like adding more services on top of the engine for customers and use cases who demand, who request these type of services. And there might be customers who just want to use the control plane, the DaaS platform, which Frame is. That's also like part of the go-to-market strategy. But like if I step back I would say 2 steps or a couple of seconds. So when Frame started 12 years ago, the whole purpose is to build a service from the ground up, a cloud service from the ground up, to run apps and desktops just in a browser. Own remoting protocol, own control plane, which handles like capacity management, image management, like brokering, secure access, like all the elements, all the functionality you require to run apps and desktops as a service. When Nutanix acquired Frame, new infrastructure were part of like the roadmap. Nutanix HV is being added. Google with GCP is being added. So we support today Azure, Amazon, Google, public cloud, and on-prem with Nutanix HV as the platform, and other platforms to come. We'll see how that will go. What makes Frame different is really like focus on simple. We started from the ground up with multi-cloud simplicity, multi-tenancy, browser focus, own remoting protocol, great admin and user experience. And every vendor will say a similar tagline. But the real question is, are they really delivering what they promise? And I know this space well, as we just briefly discussed in the introduction. Frame is indeed different in a very positive way. There are many ways where Frame is different from an just ease of use perspective, both from an admin and a user perspective. And the best thing you can experience is just get your hands dirty, like a test drive or a trial, to see, yes, indeed Frame is different, is really simple than others.
Am I right in saying, I think I saw on LinkedIn, you're doing a deep dive admin course in the next couple of days as well on Frame?
Yep, correct. And if you listen or watch the recording later, there is a recording of the training class, and there are training classes on a regular cadence. So feel free to jump in or just reach out so I can share details on that side. But there's the beauty. It's not a 6-day training course. It's probably 6-hour training course in total, both on the admin and architect side. So that says something about how straightforward the solution is.
Absolutely, and I suppose that's, we speak about in end user computing about trying to make things more simple, and you've just said it there. Like, it's a 6-hour training course, whereas in the past with other platforms, it's a couple of days, and then you're only just scratching the surface. So, there's no need for that kind of level of complexity. It should be just easy for deploying your apps and desktops. There's obviously there's layers behind it, because you have to provision the applications, all that kind of stuff. But at the same time, from an end user perspective, it should be as seamless as possible for them.
Which is like a breath of fresh air in the EUC space. When you look at competition in this space, when you look at Citrix and VMware with their own challenges, when you look at Amazon and Microsoft, which are like public mono cloud only. So there is a clear reason why Dizzion and Frame sort of merged together, because there is now a really great alternative for others, which are public cloud, mono cloud, or maybe focused on like the top 1,500 customers only, and forgetting about the mid segment, both from an customer but also from a partner perspective. And that's where Dizzion Frame fits really, really well. So enough opportunity for this space.
Absolutely. And is there any verticals in particular that you see your customer base would be in, or is it across verticals?
Well, like many use cases, but I would say BPO, so contact centers, contractors, third-party access, media and entertainment, so the design, architect, engineering, construction space. I see a lot of customers in education as well, in retail, finance, healthcare. Not so much yet. Different reason, different reason for that. Like could be technical reason, but also like compliance and regulation type things. But
absolutely,
slowly we'll get there as well.
Highly regulated areas still have it can, regulatory issues around public cloud and that. So yeah, that's
government we see as well.
Yeah.
And also like just high-end graphics applications. Although that's not in use case, but many education customers, they use Frame to deliver any app, including like Autodesk or Adobe type of applications to their students, which often requires a GPU or a slice of a GPU.
And I presume Frame can support things like Teams and all the kind of unified comms. Yeah.
We have a different approach. So from a voice perspective, so in essence, like we don't do offloading, which has a pros and cons, but the bigger benefit is there is no sort of requirement on the endpoint. We can support, and we do support, like only all the unified communication platform, audio and video, without installing anything on the endpoint. Just a browser, good to go. And it just works.
There's no content redirection or anything. It's all on the server side. Okay.
So Frame Remote Protocol 8, FRP 8, is using WebRTC, and WebRTC is like a great platform to support that. I would say downside of it, there are always pros and cons. The angle of Frame is to keep it simple. It just works. The downside in this context, when you use video, it requires a little bit more CPU, if it's a CPU only machine, on the sort of host side of things. So, and that's what you need anyway. Like with Win 10, gone are the days with 2 CPUs and 4 gigs of RAM with Win 10 anyway.
Our standard sizing for VDI desktops for a very long time.
Yeah, like 4 CPUs, 8 gigs, or 4 CPUs, 16 gigs of RAM, I would say is standard when you look at Chrome and Teams and just Windows 10 or Windows 11 in the VDI desk context. So that's what you needed anyway. We take the go for simple, it just works approach. And there are pros and cons for that, but that's what we do.
Very good, very good. No, I understand the simplicity of it. And we're seeing more and more offerings where you're consuming via a browser. Just look at Microsoft Cloud PC and other offerings like that, Citrix DAS, more and more are kind of embracing this. So I presume, given you just say a browser, so can you do it from like a mobile device as well, or it doesn't have to be a full endpoint? It could be
it can be mobile, but the big challenge is like mobile often is like smaller form factor, smaller screen.
Yeah.
So the question is, do these apps work well on a smaller screen? Although with iPad, like bigger iPad, you have a bigger screen.
Sure.
But that's, I would say, start with the first, like why on mobile device? Why not just a mobile app? And if the answer is, well, there's no mobile app, we need to use the Windows or maybe a web app on a mobile device like iOS or Android. Then the question is, what's the usability? But it runs on any device, including mobile device. The Frame Remote Protocol detects that, hey, this is like using Chrome on iOS, and it will sort of highlight certain functionality. But always, like if it's a very tiny screen, ask yourself, is this usable or not? Technical-wise, from a technical perspective, it works. It works fine, but is the usability great or good enough? That's the
absolutely
maybe the starting point of the conversation.
Yeah, of course. It comes down to, is the user experience good enough? Yeah.
Exactly.
But as you said, when you get into the bigger size tablets, then obviously you have a different experience, obviously based on the platform. So
So besides mobile, we see like Chromebooks and Chrome OS as a big, I wouldn't say use case, but a type of customer like retail, like education, or customers who are more like anti-Microsoft in this context. They are really into the Google train. Often they want to get rid of their own data center, run everything in cloud. And the question is, how do you run non-web applications or non-SaaS applications on like Chrome OS powered device or Chrome OS Flex? And we have progressive web applications. We have like remote protocol, which works well, multi-monitor in browser. So all the functions you need to run Windows apps on like a Google OS device is another like angle as well.
Okay, that makes sense. And as I said, it's browser based, so I presume it works on all thin client platforms as well, not just Chrome. So
correct. Yeah. And for thin clients, we also have Frame app. So the engine of Frame app is like a browser engine, so Chrome in this context, and we had the Frame app as a wrapper around it with specific functionality like USB support or specific smart card support, but also kiosk mode support. So often in a thin client
yes.
scenario with like IHL or Tenzig or Stradesk or or other vendors like Unicorn as well, you want to run, you power on the thin client, and the first thing you will do is just boot up with Frame app, maybe auto log in like a boot like DAS boot platform. You just auto log in to the environment. You don't see anything from the thin client platform. You can just log in as you normally log in from.
So it's kind of a seamless experience for the end user. That there's no complexity. That it's not like a session within a session type thing. No. Okay, so that makes sense. That makes sense.
It almost looks like Cloud PC boot, but then on just the thin client OS. And if you think client OS, if you log in with like SAML, like Azure AD SAML, as the first login on the thin client OS, like IHL can do as well, then we can reuse the same token in single sign-on to Frame. So no double login. No, exactly, just straightforward.
Okay, and I suppose that's a use case we would see in kind of like the financial vertical or something like that, because there'd be a lot of thin client usage. Well, in the office anyway, obviously.
You can do the same with like similar things with a browser, but the benefit of the Frame app is that you can run it in kiosk mode. So if someone closes the Frame app, and the only thing the Frame app can do is access the Frame platform. If you just close the Frame app, the user it will auto restart the Frame app. So there's no way to exit the Frame app. It will just keep running. So easy to do.
And are you seeing much use case for users utilizing Macs for accessing Frame, or
more? I would say more and more.
Yeah.
For us, it's just a platform. The Mac runs.
Like Edge or Chrome
just.
I've seen lots of stats about the PC market is in decline, yet Mac usage is growing exponentially. I suppose it's generational to a certain extent that more and more kind of they're not so young. Any younger people than ourselves are coming into the workforce, the various different generations, and would be more in tune with a Mac over like a Windows machine. So but as you said, it's just
I saw an article last week where I think they mentioned like 12% growth on Mac side compared to other platforms. So that's where growth is. We see like a lot of I cannot share the names, but like call it social media companies, because that's what they are. They have a lot of contractors. They have a lot of like internal people. Internal people use like Macs a lot, and the contractors use whatever they need to get work done. So they don't have control what the third-party contractor is doing. In the past, they were shipping these laptops to contractors, which was a super hassle, and also like from a financial perspective, not a great use case and business case. They changed that model to using Frame, and now it's okay, just use a browser, access apps, even like classic Windows apps in a very modern company.
So it
works well.
It's a perfect option for a BYO scenario, which is happening more and more. Okay, that makes sense. Okay, that's good. So as you know, we launched our new solution, CommandCTRL, quite recently, 2 weeks ago. Yes, 2 weeks ago. You've been doing some testing and having a look at it, and having a look at some of the enhancements we've done around Frame. Do you want to talk a little bit about those? Obviously, we were able to give you the metrics for the Frame protocol, which I think helps with that whole kind of troubleshooting experience.
Well, before we go into that direction, first of all, congrats with like delivering a new solution, which from the ground up is built as like cloud service, modern interface. It just works, simple to use. Like these type of themes resonate.
Absolutely, exactly. It resonates with between Frame and Liquidware, because we, as you said, we've built a solution. Like you said, it's only a couple of hours to get up to running on Frame. CommandCTRL, I think most people get up and running in less than an hour.
I would say 50 minutes. Just install the super simple. What I also like is just the amount of features. Even for I'm not sure if it's like in right term, like version 1, like the first.
It is,
the first release,
version
right?
1,
I did provide feedback to you, like, hey, what can be improved? But maybe we'll cover that a little bit later. Real-time metrics, I like that. Just like what is happening on the endpoint. So for people who don't know what is happening here, and we talked about Frame. For us, the endpoint is almost like a black box. We don't know what's happening on the endpoint. If like network usage is like a challenge, or maybe something on the endpoint, CPU, RAM is causing issues. We don't know. For us, like we have no visibility on that side. So it is great to have command and control and these type of solutions in like the toolbox, so that you can like advise customers, okay, run the agent. It will register itself in the platform, so that it becomes visible what is happening. And that visibility is like what is happening on the local machine, like the resources itself. You can do like a playback, how you call it, DVR playback.
Yeah, DVR playback.
So back in time, hey, what is happening today? What happened like yesterday, and compare. You can see what is happening on the machine itself, like a task manager, the top X applications from a CPU and RAM perspective. But also you can also see what is happening from a remoting protocol perspective. At Frame, we build our own remoting protocol, FRP, Frame Remoting Protocol. We have a lot of like specific performance counters for Frame, which says something about the quality of the session, or the sort of the compression ratio, like the user experience, the frame rate, of course, these type of things, and like the major performance counters are also visible in command and control, which helps. And that is not only Frame, but also for RDP, what I've seen myself. Yep. Maybe for Citrix or VMware as well. I don't know, but RDP and Frame,
we support Citrix and VMware remoting protocols as well.
Yeah, well, that makes total sense, because you want to have visibility, not only what is happening with the resources on the local machine, but also between your local machine and the guest VM, the remote protocol.
Exactly.
So I like that as well. I know there's ChatGPT integration, which helps with finding like which processes are attached to which applications. I've not spent time with that, but I know it's there. So that's a clever use of knowledge, like industry knowledge. So good.
Absolutely, and I suppose the thing, obviously, it's a very simple use case at the moment, and we will obviously, like every other company out there, we will further integrate AI into the solution. But we just wanted to do something quite simple. And the thing is, all the queries, we cache them for 90 days and we share them across all tenants. So if you query the same thing that's been queried already, then you don't get charged by OpenAI, because it's already cached in the solution. And then we refresh them every 90 days, because obviously process names change, Microsoft changes things all the time. So it is a simple use case. Watch this space in terms of what we're going to do with AI in the future. There's a lot more to come. Yes, as you mentioned there, you've given us some feedback. Some of the things we're already working on. Some of them are really great ideas that we're going to look at. I have to see our roadmap for the rest of the year, but I think for a Gen 1 solution, it kind of it addresses a gap in the market, and as you said, it's SaaS, so it's built, it's cloud from the ground up. It's unlike anything Liquidware have ever done. So it's because everything was more kind of on-prem, exactly. VDI. So
maybe the angle with like more like what is the real user experience measured from the user itself, or maybe the user device. Besides the metrics you already capture, see what can be added to create like a score, like a scoring mechanism. Hey, now its score is 8.7, which is great. And yesterday it was 5.3. What is happening between? And maybe use AI to get some tips like, hey, this is probably the reason why the score is much higher or much lower, depending on how you look at it. But we'll see. I don't control the roadmap, but just I can imagine that type of direction.
These are things that we are definitely looking at. So just to kind of, we touched briefly on AI. So AI is huge at the moment. It's all anyone in our industry is talking about. So I just wanted to get to kind of finish up your kind of personal viewpoint on how you see AI impacting end user computing.
Well, end user computing means like everything end users do, right? Which is super exciting, because that's like a super hot market, and like AI is one like hot element in that market anyway. But for me, like generative AI right now is more like a co-pilot in the work I do. And like I have 3 kids, 2 of them are like more in the design context. Like one of them, the youngest one, she is into like game artist, creating assets for games, thinking about like a game plan, but like a simple thing, like in building a game asset, like a sword as an example. I showed her some weeks ago. When you look at Midjourney and other tools right now, like Adobe Express is like a free tool. You have text to image. So I explained to her, okay, if you type in, prompt engineering becomes like an art to master. So I explained to her, okay, this is what you can do with like Adobe Express, a free tool. Type in text, it will generate a picture, multiple pictures, and you can use a picture as maybe as prototype for your job, for the studies she's doing. She just started in that higher education field. So Copilot for her job. But if you look at my job, for me, it's Copilot as well. I use these type of pictures to create for blog posts. I use ChatGPT and Bard and Bing, all three platforms, to review text or to come up with like industry analysis. I can see these type of tools being used on a frame product side as well. There's so much data we have. Why not just use like these platforms to enhance the already simple cPanel interface with like tips? So that's where I see in my field right now being used.
I think analysis and that kind of just analyzing all the data that we gather with various different solutions, because there's just so much data, and just getting something valuable out of it. AI gives you that ability to get it quickly, and then to be able to, you know, produce it in whatever graph format or whatever you want, essentially. So I think analytics is where in particularly in EUC where I can see growth. Obviously, things like provisioning and automatic provisioning, tell, you know, voice activated, tell ChatGPT or whatever other bot you're using or platform, say spin up, you know, 50 frame instances with this spec, these applications, blah blah, and it just goes off.
Or change instance type, because you will save X% of money when you change instance type or when you change platform as well. That type of
exactly. If you want, if it reaches this kind of level of spend, reduce to instant type XYZ. I absolutely, the automation, because obviously that's the thing that people get with cloud, is that, you know, it's expensive. But if you run a machine 24/7, absolutely it's expensive, but spin it up and spin it down as demand is there, then it can be a lot more cost effective. And I think, you know, we've had this whole discussion about public cloud and then people switching back to on-prem or private cloud or whatever you want to call it. But the main thing is around the cost, and people not understanding the cost of cloud and the fact that it is running constantly and you are paying for all of the services or whatever the machines are utilizing. And as I said, utilizing something like AI where you just kind of it analyzes that constantly and it's changing it. And, you know, most of the time, if you switch VM type, people wouldn't even notice. So.
But also I would like highly suggest, if you didn't spend half a day or maybe a day with the tools I just explained, and also reading, like I create like a monthly bento box, and internally I create a weekly bento box. And the bento box is like an assorted bunch of like links to articles I find interesting to read. So that's what my sort of EUC bento box is. And these also include like connections to the topic we talk about, like AI and large language models and so on. So if this is new, and I was surprised if I ask around with my friends and even some colleagues in the same larger company, some of them have never used these tools, which is totally fine, right? This is still like new ground. But I really recommend to spend half a day, maybe a day, with these tools, hands-on, understand how this prompt engineering works, what you can do with these tools, text to image, text to audio, text to voice, like a Copilot for research, different angles where you can use a tool. If you didn't spend half a day or a day already, block time in the schedule and make that happen. This is super, super important, not only for my job, but also to explain to my kids or to the industry, hey, what can you do with these tools?
Absolutely, I agree, because I keep using the slogan. I've no idea where it's come from. I read it somewhere, but it's like, you know, AI is not going to replace you. Someone who utilizes AI is going to replace you. So we need to embrace these tools and use them, as you said, as a co-pilot to assist us. I use it. I'm not going to hold my hands up. I use it every day for blog posts like you to help research, competitive analysis, all this kind of stuff. So, and it means that if someone sends me an email saying I need competitive analysis on this company against these ones of our solutions, and I need about 5 to 10 points, I can go away and get that done in an hour or two. I don't need to spend weeks kind of trawling and testing. I can get all that data. Obviously I want to go and analyze it because AI can lie to you sometimes. So
also my sense or my feedback is that for a high level, this works well. If it is like detailed info, it doesn't work, or the data is outdated, especially when you use ChatGPT, like GPT-4.
Yes.
It's still outdated. Bard with a D, Google Bard is better. It's the impression I got. But still, like very detailed information, like stuff we know from the field. I don't see that in these type of tools yet. But yeah,
no.
If more and more people expose that, then these tools and these platforms become more
absolutely
smart
I think it's
as well.
Yeah, it's a really exciting time to be in IT. So just say thank you so much, Ruben. This has been really good. Really appreciate your time. There's lots to come from Liquidware and in conjunction with Frame. So watch this space, and we'll be doing a lot more together. So yeah, thank you very much for your time, and that's it. Thanks very much.
Thank you for listening as well. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Bye.